Beautiful afternoon in the city. We're back right here. Greg DeVille, Let's Talk Real Estate Show. Now, my veterans, we have a lot of veterans out there. Listen, if you have any questions at this time, we're live on Facebook. I welcome your questions. You may want to feed or you may want to come in. You have some loved ones that may have, you want to be able to answer questions.
Going up in 30 seconds.
Going up in 30 seconds. So in the meantime, tell your friends, call them, tell them Greg DeVille's live on the air. Right here, Facebook Live at Rise Radio. We're doing a radio show, but we're also Facebook Live. So I want to make sure that you all get your questions answered while we're waiting for those to tune in. You all can tune in and hear me as well every Friday morning at KCP 88.1. Tune in on Fridays and Sundays at 2:30 to 2:45. So make sure you guys are listening. Tell a friend to listen to the show. I want to thank all the buyers and sellers in the past 6 months. It's been great. We spent $36 million. We've helped over 1,500 families get into home properties. The U.S. Treasury has sent over $36 million.
Okay, ready?
We're ready to go.
We're ready to
live.
go.
If you guys have any questions, feel free to call or to chime in, and I'll answer your questions.
And 3, 2, 1, you're on.
My veteran listeners, you're out there, you're listening. Listen, if you're a veteran, we first want to appreciate you for your service to this great country. If you're a veteran and you currently are renting a home or you know someone that is a veteran, please be sure to let them know that there's a possibility for them to get into home ownership using their VA benefits. Now, if they don't know where their DD-2, we can help get that, reinstate the DD-214, the certificate of eligibility. We can help them get into a home. Now, don't let these excuses hinder us any longer. The real need for us to get on board and get into home ownership. The interest rates are low right now. It's a great time in the market. This is a good time for you as potential owners to start now. Interest rates are still in the 4s, which is good. I was selling homes in the 8s. They were 9%. Now we're in the 4s. We're going up. We're getting about 5, some 5.5. But don't be alarmed, because when you're renting, you're paying 100% interest rate. That's right, 100% interest rate when you're renting. So here's the great news. So many times we don't have the funding to purchase a home, but we have the 2 years on the job minimal, or we have, the credit score, but that down payment could be $8,000 to $18,000. It just depends on how much you qualify for. Now, if that's a problem, we have grants available. You don't pay these grants back. These grants are set aside to help the home buyer. As I mentioned before, a first-time home buyer is anyone who has not owned a home in the last 3 years. If your name hasn't been on a mortgage in the last 3 years, you're considered a first-time home buyer. Never mind you owned a home before. Forgive yourself. You're good. Let us help you. Let us help you get into that home. Let us give you that money towards your down payment. Many families are out there. They've been renting. I'm getting phone calls from families saying, I've been renting from the landlord 3 to 5 years, and the landlord is now selling the home. Well, unfortunately for you, you've got to relocate. Fortunately for them, guess what? They have equity, and you've paid into their equity. Yeah, that's right. When you rent, you're paying someone else's mortgage, which in turn gains equity from the time of purchase. So they bought it 3 years ago. They rented to you. You pay the mortgage. And now that home they paid $150 3 years ago is worth $285 now. So, rightfully so, they're going to sell. They have over $100,000 in equity. So guess what? They're going to take the equity. And in many times, they don't even thank you for the rental. And take a little bit of that deposit along with them when they go for cleanup fees. But 3 years at $1,500 a month is $54,000 you give it to a landlord. And many times we're doing that without knowing, but I'm here to shed light on that to help you get out of the mess we're in. If we're still renting and we've got a good job, we've been taking care of credit, to have a 620 just means you paid some of your bills. Okay? That's all it means. You paid some of your bills. Don't shoot yourself in the foot saying, I won't qualify. If your credit isn't there, there's credit programs out there that are available to help you get on board and get your credit where it needs to be. Too many times, even as church members, We shot up the church, but our credit is shot down. And we don't take care of responsibility. We rebuke the credit man for calling for wanting his money. If you're the credit man, I rebuke you. But I just want my money. Can I just get my money? You owe me. Can I just get my money back? But we get mad when somebody owes us $10. And they want to talk to that family member again because he owed you $10. But the bill collector loaned you money to buy a car, and because the car broke down, you don't want to pay him back for the car. We find a lot of reasons, and I'm here to shed light. We've got to grow up, pull yourself by your bootstraps, say, you know what? It's time to be responsible. And we got some old fools. That's right. We got some old, it ain't just young people doing this. We got some old folks still, just ain't got it together. But I'm here to tell you, if you start now, we're still in the middle of the year right now. It's still time. Many of you can get your credit together. And let me tell you, to get your credit together is not difficult. You need to just contact a lender, get a copy of your credit report, and call a few of those credit, collection companies on there. Make a payment arrangement. Pay off some of that small stuff first. Some of that $35, $55. They'll go on your credit for $35. And it'll just damage your credit report for $35. Just call and say, look, I just want to pay it. Give me a letter of dismissal. And you send that. And when you get that letter that you've paid it, when you get that letter, now be sure to send it to TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian so that they can take it off of your credit. Okay, so it's not showing up derogatory every month. So there's ways to fix your credit. It's not difficult. It's just a matter of you facing the elephant in the room. Now, there are some things that are on your credit report that's derogatory, that's illegally on there. So I used a company that helped me get some of that derogatory items off my credit report. That company was Financial Education Services. Now, they've helped me, and they helped me to get qualified. When some of those things came off, it allowed my credit score to go up, which in turn allowed me to be able to purchase a home. So as my brother's keeper, I want to share with you all how that you can get a home, get your score up, and get into a property. Remember, many of us have been renting for so many years, we lost count. We lost count. And you know what? I want to make you aware that you lost count. So that now you can say, how much longer am I going to rent? You can start counting down because you're going to call a lender. You're going to start working on your credit. You're going to get a copy of that credit report, and you're going to face the elephant in the room. Stop making excuses, and let's get it done. It is time out for excuses. We got children coming up behind us, and we still renting. We've raised our children renting the whole time. They 15, 17, about to be 18, graduating, going to college. We're still renting. Why? Because we haven't met Greg DeVille. I'm broker owner of DeVille Realty Group. I'm very educated in the real estate industry. In fact, it's my passion. I told my wife, I said, I think I talk in my sleep real estate because I just enjoy what I do. I love to see families who never thought they could own a home. That's my passion. So if you call me, if you got questions, I'm live on Facebook. You can write a question to me. I want to answer that because I want to make you aware of all the great possibilities that are available to you. And I want you to know that if you're on a notice of default list, let's make an opportunity, okay, to sell that home. You're on a notice of default list. You haven't made your payments in 1 or 2, 5, 6 months. Guess what? I want to show you how you can sell that home and get some equity. Listen, we're going to stop for a moment right here. We're going to tune into the Isley Brothers. In the meantime, hit me with your questions. I got any questions you have. I want to continue to talk to you. Thank you, Rita, for tuning in. I appreciate you. Evangelist Renita Barnett. All right. Good to see you. Brandon. All right, Weatherspoon, man. Glad you're here. Listen, glad you guys tuned in. It's a great opportunity. And like I said, if your credit is the issue, make sure you guys call me because we're helping families. And, it's amazing. I had a family recently call me, and I set them up with a lender. And the great part about that is, and I've been speaking to them about almost 2 years, about, man, get a home. And, they kept giving me that this was that and this was the other. And do you know they called, and guess what? They got approved for over $300,000. They like, wow. I'm like, you should have been made to call. You could have got that $20,000 I had. So Regina says you need to rent before you own, right? Well, let me say this. We rent anyway. Okay. Now, many of us, we need work history.
You know what? That's a good question to answer back on air. Let's go back with that question.
Okay. And we'll go back on the air with that for someone that may need that, Evangelist Regina. It's a good question. But yes, you do in many cases.
And 3, 2, 1, you're on.
Welcome back to the Greg DeVille Let's Talk Real Estate show. We have a question by Regina Barnett. She said, you need to rent before you own, right? Well, to answer that question, many of us, we rent anyway because we've got to build the track record of work history. Many times we get a job, we haven't been on there long enough. You need a minimal 2 years on the job. So if you have to rent, let it be temporary. Let it be temporary. In the meantime, while you're renting, cut back on some of your wants. We just got way too many wants. I want this, I want that, and we want our apartments to look cute, and we want this and the other. But if your real goal is to own a home, cut back on some of your wants. Get a nice mattress so you sleep good. Cut back on some of that high end going out, because you ultimately, if you set a goal and you reach for that goal, you're gonna attain it. Many times we don't set any standards for anything, so we just keep living day to day and living month to month. But if you say, I vow to myself and I decree and declare that I'm going to own a home in the next 6 months to a year, and you start working towards those things. And I just thought about this. When you get ready to buy a new car, your car's been acting up, you get ready to buy a new car, you think about it, you say, I'm just going to get me a new car. And you go out, you know what you're looking for. You kind of know if you want a Volkswagen or if you want the Altima or what have you. Somebody want a Kia. Whatever it is that you want. You pretty much go get it in a price. Well, here's what I want you all to think about when it comes to home ownership. Now, you begin to get equity with home ownership. Okay? And I always use my own testimony. My wife and I bought a home in December 2016. And here we're coming up on 2 years now. And guess what? We have over $65,000 in equity. Now, I rented for 3 years and I gave away $54,000 to the landlord at $1,500 a month. And so a gentleman called me one day. He said, DeVille, I heard you on the radio. You said 3 years at $1,500 a month, total $54,000. I say, that's correct. He said, well, I've been renting for 15, but I've been here for 5 years. And I said, you've given a total of $90,000 to your landlord. And he said, and you know what? I got to notice the landlord is getting ready to sell the house. And I said, I understand why. You gave him equity, and guess what he's going to do? He's going to take that equity, and many times they don't even thank you for the rental. Thank you for paying my mortgage. But because we don't know better, we can't do better. But now that we're exposing information, we want to keep hope alive. We want to help you get into home ownership. Now, sometimes our credit is a little bit too far gone. It may take a little bit longer. I still say, if you start today, the time will allow and go by. In a year, you'll still be renting. So if you start working on it, at least in a year, you're renting with the expectation. And that's the thing we want to make sure that we're driving to everyone, is the expectation of home ownership. I hope I answered that question for you, Evangelist Regina. That's right. Many people are renting right now. It's it's a Band-Aid to your situation. The ultimate dream is home ownership. You've heard of the American dream being home ownership? I do rent homes. They ask, do I rent home? I need to move. I would like to own a home real soon. We do rent homes. Now, however, if your credit is challenged, I don't recommend going through a property management company. If your credit is challenged right now, what I advise you to do is go to homesforrent.com, forrentbyowner.com, or homesforrent.com. Or even apartmentsforrent.com. That way you're dealing more directly with homeowners who can work with you possibly in getting to a home. Now, here's the thing with a lot of the property management is they want you to give them $50 or $100 application fee. And they'll take 10 applications on one house at $50. Well, do the math. That's a pretty good little piece of change. Only one person is going to get the house. And if your credit is already challenged, then the chances are you're just giving money away. So homesforrent.com, okay, forrentbyowner.com, apartmentsforrent.com. Those are some direct avenues so that you can kind of avoid property management. She says here, renting with expectation. Yes, absolutely. Renting with expectation. Say, I'm going to rent. Now, again, I talk to those who are behind in their mortgage. And so we're selling. I got a few homes for sale right now, and they're behind in their mortgage. So here's the thing. I said, okay, we're going to sell. We're going to get you that 100,000, 150,000 in equity. Because if they take the house, then guess what? They're going to keep that equity. You're not going to get it. So the best thing to do is, sell the house, pay the loan back, the default, all that money that you owe, whatever that is, and take whatever it is. If it's 50,000, if it's 30, guess what? It's yours. So that's the great part about home ownership. Now, renting with expectation, ideal. Yes, you're welcome. Home ownership plan. Is there a plan for? Well, again, now when you talk about a plan, you've got to start with your credit report. You've got to, I know we don't want to look at it. Oh my God, to be like, how many pages do I have? But it's okay. It's okay. You're facing the elephant in the room, because if we don't deal with it, we continue to pile on and pile on. When we know what we're working with, let's go ahead and challenge it. Now, again, there's a program that I use, and it has, it's a derogatory, it disputes derogatory items. Okay, so if you want to use that program, give me a call. I'll send you the link. I use the program, and what they do is, a lot of the third-party collection agencies put items on your credit report, which many consumers aren't aware it's illegal. Now, say you owe Metro, phone service, $50. Well, they'll write the $50 off, but they'll sell the paper to a third-party collection. And now the third-party collection is sending you letters saying, we're here to collect the $50. Well, they bought it from Metro for 10 to 20 cents on the dollar. And so now they're trying to collect from you, and they're harassing you. So what the derogatory report does, sending the letters out disputing that, that I don't owe you, Mr., whatever that collection agency is, and they have to send you a notice that you actually signed up with them and you owe them the debt. So these derogatory programs help get your these things off your report. When these things come off your report, guess what it does? It entitles your scores to go up, which enables you to get into a better bracket, which credit score, okay? Okay, all right. Rita Henderson, good to hear from you. And those of you listening to me live on Facebook, listen, those questions you want to ask, you just don't want to show your face. you want to ask questions. Listen, I want to help you. Now remember, Greg DeVille, DeVille Realty Group, that's what we do. That's what we do. DeVille Realty Group, 702-515-4100. We're here. This is a full-time business. We're going to take a small break. Now, if you got questions, continue to come in on Facebook for me. We'll take a small break. We'll be right back.
And you're clear.
Wonderful. Yeah. So there's a plan for your credit to be better. Yes, absolutely, Rita. Now, remember, FES is a program that I use, and they send you letters. You sign the letters. You send them out to the 3 credit bureaus. Okay? They're going to dispute some of those items on your credit report. So that's what you want to make sure that you're doing. Those of you that are listening, you got credit challenge. At some point we can't let our kids beat us to home ownership. We've been around a long time, and we, and we keep putting it off. We don't want to admit. Just have a lender. And I got some lenders, and we're not here to embarrass you. We're here to help you get into home ownership. We love you. When God blessed me to be a realtor and become a broker and do all that I'm doing, I love helping families.
30 seconds.
I love helping families. And so the first step, yes. The first step is to start. Let's contact a lender, and let's go ahead and get you a copy of your credit report. Remember, seconds. I want you to face the elephant in the room. Okay? You can call me at the office, 702-515-4100. They'll send you a link to get your credit back on track. And just work with them, and they'll work with you. And it may take you 5 months, 6 months. For me, it was under 60 days. I went from a 520 to a 677.
And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you're back on.
Welcome back. We're back. Good afternoon to you. It's Greg DeVille, DeVille Realty Group, right here at Rise Radio. Don't forget, the opportunities are endless for you to own a home. And one of our listeners says, this is the scary part. Well, it's scary to see how much longer I'm going to continue to pay someone else's mortgage. How much longer am I going to continue in this vicious cycle, moving here because they want to sell the house, now I got to move again. Keep beating up my furniture because I keep moving it and shifting it to the side and twisting it up and folding the mattress to get it out the door, and oh my goodness. So, we've got to go ahead and say, you know what, it's time. Even if you start with a condo. Many families start with a condo. Right now home prices are going up. And I told one of the mothers at the church 2 years ago or so, I said, you should buy a home and find something right now. Do you know she waited so long that she can't even buy a home at all because those prices aren't here anymore? When home prices were 150, I showed up 5 or 6 different homes in a day and over a course of about 3 weeks. And everything, no, this not going to work. This not. And guess what? Now she can't get a home at all for $150. You can't buy a condo hardly. A decent one. I mean, you can find some, it just depends on where you're willing to live. But just keep in mind, getting a condo, because many of you live in an apartment anyway. It's amazing. When I'm out meeting people, they get approved, and now all of a sudden they got bougie on me. And I said, where do you live right now? And they said, I live in an apartment. I'm saying that you can't take this house? Listen, people say, well, I don't take anything. Let me say this to you. Hear me good. You live in someone's apartment with someone on each side of you and underneath you, and somebody's above you, and you're renting someone's apartment. You don't even have a garage. And so I'm going to get you a house. It's got a garage. In fact, your parking space ain't even covered. You just out there with the elements. You're not even covered. And I'm real talk. Somebody say, how you know? Well, the truth is, yeah. My studio engineer says, and you got to walk the trash down to the other side of the building to the trash cans, and they full. I was passing an apartment building the other day, and they had a couch in it. The whole couch took up the whole trash can. I'm like, can't nobody use trash can now, But real talk, laughter's good. Laughter's good. Real talk, family, real talk. We got to get out of being so picky. You get an opportunity, say you qualify $200,000. It's not a lot of homes out there. $200,000, you might get 1,000 square foot home. But what never ceases to amaze me? You'll live in a 700 to a 900 square foot apartment, but an 1,100 square foot home won't work for you. And we giving you the free money to get it. But that's okay. That's okay. I'm ranting right there because it always amazes me. You're gonna get for $200,000, you need about $7,500. We're gonna give you that. We're gonna give you that $7,500 towards your down payment, and then we're gonna negotiate your closing costs, which is another 3%, about $6,000. We're gonna negotiate that with the seller on your behalf. Okay, so you're literally getting in here with like $18,000, maybe $2,000 out of pocket. Okay, and sometimes people have been getting that. I met a guy at the bank just on my way here, and he was telling me, he bought a home and he got his earnest money back. Many people do get their earnest money back at the close of the escrow. Okay, but that's negotiating during the sale. Okay, so just understand, we're trying to get you into a home. Now, the lady or the mother of the church who didn't buy that home at 150, there was homes. When I was showing her property, there was 2-car garage homes with a little backyard. They weren't very large, but they would have been hers. And guess what? Today, we're some 3 years later, guess what she could possibly have? 40, 50, 60,000 in equity. But guess what? She's still renting with nothing. And so I'm sharing that to share with many of you that if you don't start now, you won't be able to afford a home next year possibly. If your finances don't change, you may not be able to afford a home. Only because home prices are going up. Right now, $250,000 might get you 1,600 square feet. That's it. $250,000 might get you 1,600 square feet. People come to me, I want a 3-car garage, bruh. And I listen to you. Go on, let that out. Go on, exhale. Blow that out. And then, so you want to know the truth, and I'm going to send you what's available in your price range. Now, I ask you nicely, choose a house. You live in an apartment. Get a house. Well, somebody said, well, I live in a house. But you're not paying your mortgage. You live in a house, but you're paying somebody's mortgage. And guess what? Within a year, maybe 2, if not 3, guess what they're going to do? They're going to give you a notice to vacate Oh, no. This is what they're going to do. They're going to give you a notice when you pay your rent. They're going to say, we're putting the home up for sale, and we would appreciate your cooperation in allowing people to come in and see our property. So we're selling it, and we need realtors to show the house. What days are good for you that we can put a lockbox on the house and take pictures? And guess what? You need to start preparing to go rent somewhere else. But if you owned your own home, so what, the house ain't big enough for you right now? Build some equity. The slogan at DeVille Realty is creating wealth through equity. Keep that in mind. Creating wealth through equity. So I paid $300 for my home. Now the home is worth $365. So if I sell the house, not only probably about $290 something, $292 I think I saw. So I owe $292. So I pay back the $292, and I'm selling it for $385. So guess what? $292. I still got $8 plus the $85. Man, I got a good $90-something thousand because I bought a home, and I bought the home and used a grant that gave me the money, and the grant only requires you to keep it at least 1 year. Okay. Thank you, Regina. She said, this is good info. How much is it to rent a home? Apartments are way up there. Rental insurance, water, sewage, and like a house. Condos. Well, rental insurance, water, sewage. Well, a lot of the owners pay their own, sewage, because we don't want you guys to get behind. And then we got this huge bill. So just so you understand, but renting an apartment, you clearly don't have water and things like that. Renting a condo. But again, if you got to move, you got to rent, let it be short term. Say make a vow and decree and declare to yourself, this is my last lease. This is going to be my last lease. Until you make that decision that I'm going to stop renting, I'm going to stop paying equity for everyone else, and I'm going to start investing to my own future. So you own a home. When we were kids, our families owned homes. Many of us, we grew up in the same house. I grew up in the same house since the 3rd grade until I became some 20, 25 or so years old, and I was out on my own. But we lived in the same house. And many of us grew up like that, and we want to raise our children. So to the millennials that are listening, you guys get your job, take care of your credit, pay your bills, and cut back some of that entertainment and going out to eat. Because you realize they take gratuity now. Back in the day, you could leave on the table what you want. Guess what? Now, the gratuity is included, and they're telling you, we want 18%. And I told the brother, the devil is a lie. I give God 10, how you getting 18? I broke him down to 9. Yeah, I broke him down. Yeah, you can't get more than God on my life. You know what I'm saying? For real. But anyway, back to... But that's where we are today. And many families are going out regularly. You'll never get ahead. So you cut back. Somebody said, well, I don't eat leftovers. Well, get TV dinners. Put them in the freezer. Every day you can have a different meal. Whatever you got to do to sacrifice, to get into a home. And then once you get into now, to own a home, it might cost you a little more than rent. But guess what? You get tax benefits at the end of the year, okay? There are a lot of opportunities. Every year, the value goes up, so you're getting equity. There's a lot of opportunities with home ownership. So don't forget, if you own a home today and you're listening and you're behind in your mortgage, I want you to call me. We can do a sale. It's called a pre-foreclosure sale. You're going to lose the house. And when you lose the house, you lose the equity that's left in the house. And so we don't want to see you do that. Okay, we don't want to see you lose the equity in a home. We want to make sure, take that equity out and then rent for 1 year. Because in many cases, you can't go right into because you're behind in your mortgage, which makes your credit score take a hit. But within a year's time, in many cases, you can pay off some of those debts, pay off some of those bills, which will in turn raise your score. Because remember now, you've got some equity because, you sold the home, you lived there 4, 5, 6 years. Sometimes I'm having families that took out a second on the mortgage. You don't have a lot of equity. But even with a little bit, say you get $10,000. Take that equity. Don't take a career back into another property. Greg DeVille at DeVille Realty Group, I'm here to help you do that. I want to educate you into economic, advancement, how to get ahead, how to create wealth through equity. At DeVille Realty Group, we're here to help. I enjoy what I do. I appreciate everyone on my team. I got 19 agents. My wife is with us. The lovely, the beautiful Greg DeVille works with us. Listen, our job is to help you get out of the trouble you're in, whether you're renting or helping you get into home ownership. Okay? All right. Sounds good. We're going to take a break, and we'll be answering questions online.
And you're clear. So after this, we get last segment.
Okay. So Regina, you said it's for an apartment. They charge you where you live. Well, that's also more the reason to get out. You got all these charges. Start working away. Let me say this. Let me say this to those of you that are listening. If you don't buy another outfit and you just go get clean what you got in your closet, and you start on this end of the closet, before the year's out, you will not have worn the same thing twice. I said that to somebody and they own a house today. They said, I never thought about that. Go get your clothes clean at the cleaners and hang them all right here. Start here at the beginning of the closet. And before the year is out, you will not have worn the same thing. So, because they keep bringing handbags, and y'all like Michael Kors and all that stuff. Waste of money. I don't think Michael even owns a Michael Kors bag. Rich folk, they got the simplest look, man. They flip-flops, and black folk, we got to have but we don't own nothing. We've got to get to the place where owning is priority. Where owning is got to happen in my life. If I don't do nothing else, it's like buying a car. People, you look for that day that you pay off the car. Well, I want you to look for the day that you're going to stop paying rent. And let that be an expectation, a dream, a purpose. If you don't buy another handbag, it's just real. And you know what I realized when you guys are buying these handbags? Because your girlfriend saw that bag, so you can't use that bag again because she already told you that bag was cute. So you got to get another handbag so she can tell your girl this bag is cute. I know a lady buy perfume, and if you don't tell her that one smells good, she won't wear it again. So they buy it for the compliments. Mm-hmm. And many times we're in debt for compliments. So just be careful. We got 10 seconds. But if you still got questions. So, Regina, you're there. She said, amen, I am. She said, my last lease, I declare this. This is good. All right, I appreciate it. And that's what we're here for.
And you can shout her out on the air, too. And 3, 2, 1, you're back.
And we're back right here, Rise Radio. I'm Greg DeVille, DeVille Realty Group, right here listening with all our listeners right here live on Facebook. Don't forget, get into a home and stop paying off that landlord's mortgage. There are grants available. Now, to our veterans. Now, I want you guys to take this information as well. Say you know a loved one who was married to a veteran, and they're receiving their benefits. So, God forbid, say the husband is deceased, right? The wife can use his benefits to purchase a home. If she's receiving his benefits, she's eligible to purchase a home under his benefits. So we sold a home to one of the church mothers. And don't say you're too old, because Mother Elsie was 74. And that's 3 years ago. But she was 74. She bought a home under her deceased husband's benefits. He'd been deceased for some time. But many don't know the benefits or the programs that are out there and that are available. So my job is to educate you so that you understand there are programs available, all type of programs. So you don't have a credit score, but you have some money. I can get you a home. Okay, you've got a job, but your scores aren't there. But you've got $5,000, $6,000. We could help you get into a home of ownership. I'll tell you right now, I'm not big on rental. Okay, I'm not big on that. I understand. I say we do it if we have to, but it's a temporary means. Just temporary. It's like a Band-Aid on a sore. It's just temporary. Okay, and I want to make sure you all know that, working with DeVille Realty Group, we're going to help you get into a home. If you follow the plan it out. Put it on your mirror, wherever you are. Put it on your dashboard right in front of your radio. You turn on the radio, you're going to read it every day. My goal is to own a home. And when you make a goal and you set a goal, stand behind your goal. And make sure you're planning the right way. And that's by saving money, paying off your bills, and take your clothes to the cleaners. Stop buying more clothes and putting it on top of more clothes. And we got so many clothes. We got clothes, but we don't have equity. We got shoes, but we don't have equity. We have stuff, but we don't have equity. Brothers, the rims was big when you bought the car. You had to go get bigger rims. You needed bigger sound. But we spend so much on other things, but we're renting. And so I want to step on your toe. I want to make you mad. I want to make you angry. I want to provoke you in love to do the right thing. Let's get into home ownership. I got money. I got grants to help you with the down payment. If you got a notice of default, don't forget. If you're a veteran, don't forget we're here to help you. Get that equity out. Now, some of you are behind in your HOAs. Now, I want you to realize you can lose your home being behind in an HOA. That's right. If you're behind in your HOA right now, they can foreclose. Okay, so there are foreclosure sales from HOA companies. I just found out today a condo is for sale. The guy bought it. He bought a condo. No, it's a townhome, 3-bedroom townhome, about 1,500 square feet. He paid $7,500 for it 3 years ago. He got it on a foreclosure sale through an HOA foreclosure sale. They can foreclose on your home for an HOA. So those of you that are out there and you're behind in your HOA, I tell you what, if you can't catch up, you will get a notice from the HOA giving you a sale date, and there's no courts. That's right. There are no courts can help you, because when you buy into an HOA, you sign forms that you understand they're the governing power of that community. And when you do that, you're giving them, okay? You're giving them the power to do that. If you get behind in that HOA, they can foreclose. I know a gentleman today personally lost a home for $10,000. The HOA sold it. I'm telling you right now. So if you're behind, you can't catch up, and you're getting notice of default letters, and they give you a sale date, you better call me, 702-515-4100, because they will surely sell that place. And the next knock you will receive on your door will be from the new owner who bought your home for however much you were late, $5,000, $7,000. So don't forget, you got to keep up on those HOAs. You got to keep up on that mortgage. Now, sewer and all those different companies, they'll just put liens on you. The IRS, they put liens on you. But when it comes to owning that property with the HOA and the mortgage, I'm telling you right now, they will foreclose. When they set a date, they don't have to give you an extension. I've had opportunities. We had docs at title. In other words, the documents that you would sign to purchase were at title, and the foreclosure said, nope, we're not going to allow you to sell it. We're going to foreclose. And then they put it on a foreclosure block, and it still didn't sell. You know what they do? They sit that folder back there, and that house could be vacant for a year. But they will give you a notice to vacate because the bank has seized the property back. So if you're in trouble, you know someone in trouble, let's step over pride, and let's not allow pride to cause us to lose so much in life. You know, pride is a killer. You know, I always say pride, if you take the P off, will take you for a ride. If you take the E off, it will get rid of you. That's what pride will do to you. And many times we're too proud to say, I need help. How many times I see people get cars repossessed for 3 months payment? Your car note was $350 a month, $400 a month, 3 months. You lost a car for $1,200, but your pride wouldn't let you tell your cousin, man, take over the notes. I'm $1,200 behind. But we'd rather let them take the car than to just say, you know what, I need a little help, man. If you take over the notes, just pay the note, man. You keep the car, and just save my credit. But pride won't let us do that. So they repossess the car over $600. I see that with homes. So if you want to get help, you got to give DeVille Realty a call. Tell your friends. You guys are talking at the dinner table. You guys are out watching the game. He says, man, I'm behind in my property, man. I don't know what I'm going to do. Tell them to call Greg DeVille. We're going to find an answer how to get out of the mess you're in. We're going to find a way to do it. And like I said, in many cases, if you can't, you're behind in that mortgage, we cannot refinance it. The bank won't do it once you get behind. So if you're already a month or two behind and you don't see catching up in the near future, I tell you what, go ahead and give me a call. Let's make comparative market analysis to see what your values are. And from there, we'll sell the home. We could possibly get you. I've got people right now, they got over $50,000, $100,000 coming back from the sale of their property. So again, Greg DeVille, DeVille Realty Group, 702-515-4100. So we had a caller say there's nothing wrong with renting as long as you have the thought process that it's only a tent. Okay. So you rent the tent. Okay. So the tent don't last long. It's temporary. You know, it's like going on vacation. You get a tent. So it's temporary. Here's what I want you to do. Remember, Greg DeVille, DeVille Realty Group, 702-515-4100. That's the name you need to know. Give us a call. Tell your friends about us because we're here to help everyone. I know people know realtors, but they may not know what I know because I specialize, getting people out of trouble. It doesn't matter the price. I'm not afraid of a $100,000 house. It don't matter if it's only $150,000. As long as I can help you get sleep at night, I feel my God-given assignment and purpose is to help. I am my brother's keeper. Is to help you get out of that property, help you get out of that trouble, and help you get out of being paying off landlords' mortgages. I was on one of my other radio shows, and a landlord called me. He says, young man, everybody don't want to own. I say, well, then don't call Greg DeVille. But if you want to own, you need to call Greg DeVille. We have programs available. It doesn't matter your price range. We go up to $450,000 on grant programs. You just got to make the call. This is not only a chitlin circuit where people with low income, no. You can have a good income. We sell homes for all type of families. But I love helping my community. And if you from 89106, 89108, 89030, let me help you. Let me help you. Let me help you get out of that rental. You got a job. Now your friends on the job that you know that they're renting, say, man, you ain't bought a house? Call Greg DeVille. He got some programs. He's going to help you. Because that's what I do. God has blessed me to own DeVille Realty Group. And I love helping families. And I love seeing, you know what? I'll tell you what's really, really valuable to me is when I'm giving you all the keys to the house, the kids are running and picking their rooms. This is my room. And that's amazing. I get emotional with that. To know the kids got a backyard to play in. Their own. Many of us have backyards in the balcony of our apartment. That's your backyard. DeVille Realty Group wants to give you your own backyard. Want to give you your own keys to your own home. That's what we do, and we love it. It's not about the money. It's about the peace of mind that I help the family. And we get paid. Trust we do. God blesses us. We have been tremendously blessed. But I'll tell you, beyond all of the money, helping the families have been wonderful. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. I enjoy what I'm doing. I'm having a lot of fun. And to know people have challenge credit, then they call me back and they say, DeVille, man, my score went up. I said, all right, call the lender. Let's see where you're at. Because I was in that boat. I went to the lender. She said, DeVille. She said, bruh, you need work, man. And I had like a 520. But I wanted to own a home because I've been selling homes. I want to own a home. I need to know where to start. So I said, pull my credit report. She said, you got a 520. And then someone told me about this program about building my credit, and I joined it. And when I got on that program, guess what happened? My scores went from that 520 under 60 days to a 677. And you know what? I went back to that same lender. And she said, DeVille, you good. Now, how much home do you want to purchase? And because I'm an entrepreneur, it was different because the monies are different than a W-2. We don't do W-2. We do profit and loss. And also, those of you who work with profit and loss, you're barbers and different kind of fields like that, there are loans for those as well. So don't think you can't qualify. If you're making money on the job and you're making cash as a beautician or nail tech, what have you, but you make cash on the job, deposit everything that you do. That bank statement is going to become your proof of funds. Okay, so make sure you deposit everything. Write it down. If you cut a hair, you made $20. Well, you made 6 20s today. It's $120 a day. Some people work 8 hours, don't make that. So as barbers, keep everything that you do, write it down and deposit it. Okay, that way, guess what? You're keeping a record. And because there are lenders right now who will lend with 1 year of bank statements showing that monies you're putting in there. Okay, so just keep that in mind. We're helping everybody. See, some other stuff just came. There's a lot of information out there. And just call me with your question. Call me with your information. I got a listener who says, I've owned my home for 4 years. My wife and I are ready to buy a large house. Should we rent or sell the house, the home they're in? Well, I'll say this. I had a lady call me today with the same scenario. She doesn't want to be a landlord. She said, Mr. DeVille, I don't want to rent. I don't want to be a landlord. So remember, being a landlord does entail some stuff you may not want to deal with. I personally think a landlord is okay. They could keep the mortgage going on that house. You know what I mean? As the property, the values go up, you're getting equity on a regular. So if you don't mind being a landlord, I tell every landlord, if you're going to keep the house, get a home warranty on the property. So if you get a home warranty, anything goes wrong with the house, it's going to cover the air conditioner, the water heater, the plumber for a deductible of $70. So just keep the house if you feel like you want to be a landlord. If not, I'll tell you what, let's sell the house, because the equity that you have, you can use it toward the new home and put some money down to buy down the principal on that property. Okay, so if you get qualified, let's say $325,000, you could take $50,000 and now you're down to $275 on a loan. You feel me? So now you qualify for less. You put some money down, and it brings your payment down as well. All right, so your payment's a little bit less. And then you still have some money left over possibly that, you could stack a little bit to the side and buy some new furnishings for your wife. And, everyone want a new house, want a new plant. Well, we'll bring you the plant. All right, listen, we're going to wrap up this show right here at Rise Radio. I'm Greg DeVille, owner-broker at DeVille Realty Group. I want to thank you for your time, for your tuning in, for all your comments and suggestions. It has been wonderful. Listen, tune in every Thursday right here at Rise Radio at 6 to 7 p.m. I'm Greg DeVille, owner-broker, DeVille Realty Group. And until next time, you be blessed. I love you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. God bless.
Hey, man, you're clear. Great show.
Stephen, he says, do you have a realty license company? Yes. So you want to be a realtor? Key Realty School would be a great school to look into. Key Realty School, Key. And it's only 91 hours. For those of you who've been thinking about becoming a realtor, it's only 91 hours of school, which is 3.5 weeks. They have morning, evening classes, so you can accommodate your schedule. 91 hours. You can become a realtor. And many of us are doing pretty good in real estate. The market is well right now. We've recovered from the crash. Things are looking good. Things are looking up. So if you're considering being a realtor, we have realtors at my company. They still have their own jobs. But they own a real estate license, and they practice real estate. It could be very lucrative. If you're a friendly person and you're not afraid to speak, it's advised that, do something like that. But there's a lot of people who are shy, and they're undercover realtors. I went to a guy's house, and I thought he had a very nice house. I said, man, if you ever think about selling it, let me know. And he didn't say anything. I found out about a year or so later the guy was a realtor. I'm like, really? He didn't even tell me he's a realtor. Undercover realtors. But if you want to be a success in real estate, you certainly have to be bold and talk to everybody. I'm in line in Walmart buying whatever, and people in front of me and behind me, I give them a card. How you look on real estate? That's my question. How do you look on real estate? I don't own a home. Well, you need to call me. I got some free grant monies available, So if that's where, you are and you want to consider the opportunity in real estate, we're at DeVille Realty. We have some new agents that actually just got licensed, and we give leads at our company to help you get started. So give us a call. Again, 702-515-4100. And yeah, that's it. That's it. Appreciate you. He says, sir, bless you, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that very, very much. Right. Blessings in your life, business, in Jesus' name. I received that, Rita. Thank you so much. God bless you. And anytime you guys have questions. Now, again, remember, if you need a rental and your credit is challenged, okay, it's not bad credit. It's just challenged for right now. I'm not broke. I'm just in between blessings right now. But if your credit's challenged and you need to rent, remember, go to homesforrent.com, forrentbyowner.com, and apartmentsforrent.com. Those are good websites that you can utilize. In many cases, you can meet directly with owners, and they, not so tight on the credit score. A lot of the property management companies, if you have credit challenges, they're making you pay that $50, knowing when you paid it, you didn't meet the criteria to rent their units or their property. But they collect these 50 in many cases. I've seen it. So you'll be out of 50 times 5, places. But homesforrent.com, for rentbyowner.com, and apartmentsforrent.com. Those are some great sites to look into if you just got to rent. Now, and while you're renting, start paying off some of those little collections. Get a copy of your credit report, not that Credit Karma. Let's get you a real copy from a lender perspective. Get you a copy of that credit report and start calling those creditors. Start with the little ones, $35, $50. You know, they'll put anything on your credit.
Credit Karma's not good?
It's not what a lender uses, I'll tell you that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not what lenders use. It's okay for you to kind of get a guesstimation, but they're off a little bit. They're not always accurate for what lenders use more of a detailed credit source. And so if you call a lender, you'll have to pay for a credit report, $11 to $20, but it's a legitimate. Credit Karma is, you know, like I said, it's okay. But again, lenders don't use it. I'll tell you that. Lenders don't use that. But just keep in mind, okay? Contact me. I'll set you up with a lender. Get a copy of that credit report. Remember, it might cost you $11 to $25, somewhere in that number. I don't know. I don't do loans. But get a copy of that report. Look at it. Call the little ones, the little money that you owe on there. Call those little places, man, and pay off some of that. Get a letter of dismissal. Send that letter to the credit bureaus, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. Okay? Send them a copy. They'll take it off your credit report so it stops reporting derogatory. All right? Now you're starting to work on your credit. Now get you a couple credit cards. Okay? Citibank. Citibank gives you a real easy card. And what's that? Capital One. Capital One. They'll give you a credit card. They may start you with $300. You know, it's not to go take a cruise, not to go do nothing, because you're trying to buy a house. But you need it. Yeah. Buy gas.
I just buy gas and pay it off.
Buy gas, pay it off. You know, use it 35. Problem I have to remember is to use the card. You know, that's the problem. I have to remember to use the card. And then put it on automatic draft. Okay? But don't just pay the minimal on your automatic draft. Okay? The minimal is like 25. Pay like 60. Or you could pay the whole thing off. Now, if they give you $300, don't max over $125. You know, get that $125, pay $60, and then pay the other $70 to pay it off. And and every month use it for little groceries or what have you. Okay? That helps build one of the worst things that's happening that we're also running is just people with no credit score. So they can establish a score for you now. So they'll use your Sprint cell phone bill. They'll use your rental. It's called Rental Karma. So what they do is they take a year from your landlord's. You know, he'll give a letter saying you've been on time. You know, we could use the cell phone because you know you ain't never late on that cell phone. So they use cell phone. Gas bill, you know, the home, Southwest Gas. They can use those. Get a letter saying 1 year you've been on time with no lates. They can build your credit score. Okay, so there's a lot of different avenues to get into home ownership. Make that change. Make that decision. Make that decision that I'm going to stop giving my money to the landlords only to find out that they're getting ready to sell the house. So, listen, my number, 702-515-4100. That's my number. Give me a call. Any questions, referrals? Listen, I appreciate referrals. Tell your friends. Maybe it's not your turn, but you know someone that has maybe better credit than we have at this time, and you can help them get into a home. Tell them about Greg DeVille. Tell him he's the broker. He owns a real estate company. We're the largest black-owned real estate company in Nevada right now, and we're excited about it. And we want to help as many as we can to continue to grow into home ownership and create wealth through equity. So I want to thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate you. Congratulations to Thomas Johnson and his lovely wife, Cherie. They had a baby boy. Praise God. That's beautiful. Listen, Facebook, until we talk again next time, listen, I love you guys. You guys are blessed. I appreciate you. 702-515-4100. Don't forget, tune in to my show tomorrow morning, Friday mornings at 9 a.m. to the KCP Power 88 Greg DeVille Let's Talk Real Estate Show, and Sunday at 2:30. Until we talk to you next time, I love you, Las Vegas, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Have a great day, and God bless.